Okay, so if the answer is yes, actually the price of food that we buy is actually increasing in the market. The next question, as a Marketboomer client, you typically ask is, well, is there a dynamic and competitive market for my business? Okay, so when you ask that question, there's a number of tools that we have available. One of them is what we call a supplier pricing report, and we'll just take a look at that report now. There's an awful lot of numbers up here, but I have a little bit of faith in you because you're all financiers and so on, so you should get your head around this pretty quickly. This column here tells me what I've been buying over a particular date range. Let's say it's the last 30 days. This tells me the quantity that I've been buying, and this tells me what my spend value has been. Okay, so at my current price, my spend value, number one product, the top beef fillet, I spent 25,000 whatever, dollars, pounds, whatever you want it to be. And then I focus down on the products that I'm spending the most money on. What I can see here are the number of quotes we're getting now. The context of this report is that Jumeirah has made a conscious decision to buy competitively. They've made a conscious decision to move away from fixed contracts, and they want to work the supplier community. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff has gone into pre-qualification of these suppliers and so on. But now what we can see here is that I've got 4 quotes for my beef fillet steak. There's a price range of 7% between them. I can see all the prices listed across the right. So yeah, I'm buying my beef fillet pretty competitively as far as I'm concerned. But if we move down and we maybe look at some of those other products, we've got 1 quote on the butter unsalted. I'm not buying that clearly competitively. I've got 1 supplier, maybe the price is going up. I've got some other products here, 1, 1, 2. You know, maybe we're not buying them competitively. The other thing, and this is missed a lot, row number 4, what's that? The sea bass fillet, there's a 421% price variance. What that flags for us is that one of the suppliers quoting has probably got his price wrong. He may be quoting by the each and he should be on a kilo, or he's quoting for 100 gram and it should be a kilo or whatever. And thereby he's excluding himself from competing for the business. So this highlights very, very quickly for the purchasing manager, give the guy a ring, qualify the price, and then bang, we have now 4 genuine competitive quotes. So the purchasing people in Jumeirah will do this literally every day. They'll run through this report, they'll run their eye down, they'll resort it where they'll bring up the potential saving, being the highest ones at the top, and very, very quickly focus out of the thousands of products they're buying every day, where can we make the most difference right now at this moment? Okay? So the next question is, if there is not a competitive market, then there are some things you can do about it. Yeah, you can, you can ask, do we review our supplier selections often, or are we locked into one particular supplier? Do your suppliers know your selection rules? Do suppliers realize that if they've got a best price and they put it in, they're going to win the business? Are they actually motivated to go and do that for you? All those things are things you can do, and I'm going to skip through that if you don't mind. I'm just conscious of the time. The last question is, if there is a competitive market, if my suppliers are doing their bit and my purchasing team is doing their bit to present to the operation genuinely competitive, keen prices, then am I buying competitively? The chef in the kitchen, the housekeeper, the front office manager, the people making buying decisions, are they actually taking advantage of that competitive market that we've created for them? 2 tools there that you can use, an opportunity cost report and a competitive analysis report. We'll just jump in and look at the competitive analysis report. This is a very, very precise report, one for an outlet in an operation, because every outlet in their hotels may have different rules for how they want to buy stuff. You know, the chef at the Burj Al Arab Skyview bar may want to buy particular items from particular suppliers. That's good. And another chef in another outlet may have completely different rules. So this is the beef for a particular chef for a particular outlet. And what it's telling us here is that they're paying a 9% premium over the best prices being offered to them. Now, we're not saying 9%. We're not saying it should be 8 or 20. We're just saying, right now, compared to the best price offered to you, you're paying a 9%. So now you can put a monetary value around the decisions you're making. So now let's look at it. Our beef fillet here, we bought 130 kilo. We've got 2 suppliers quoting. The lowest quoted price is 32. The lowest quoted price, this is key. You see here the number of enabled suppliers. Our chef in this case has said, I don't care how many quotes you're going to get me, I'm going to buy from 1. Yeah? And that decision means that the lowest quoted price from an enabled supplier is £36.76. But the key thing here is that decision has cost you £618. That could be a week, or it could be a month, or it could be a year, depending on the volume that you've put through. So now what you can start to do is look at this and say, well, 1,132, did I say that right? 1,321, maybe for our lamb chine end. So now you sit the chef down and say, right, chef, we're going to make a £1,300 decision here, or at least we're going to consider the £1,300 decision you're making every week. And what we find is that, in fairness to the chefs, they look at it and they go, no, couldn't be. And you go, actually it is. And because all this information is common across our entire group, your colleague right next door in the other 5-star hotel, he's paying the lower price. So give him a call, ask him how it's going, ask him what he thinks of it. So you start to put numbers that people can't run away from. Now, I'm not saying everybody likes these numbers, yeah? And I'm not saying they don't resist them. But what we start to do, and we learned this lesson a long time ago, we don't argue with you anymore. We simply say, they're the numbers. And we let you argue amongst yourselves. And when I say that, I mean the end user. So we run this report for Chef 1, and we run it for Chef 2, and Chef 3, and Chef 5, and Chef 10. And they all compare. And when one guy says, yeah, but that's rubbish, you go, well, in your context, you're saying that the chef at the Burj Al Arab, that product is rubbish. Because that's what he buys, and that's the price he pays. So don't tell me, Mr. FC, that I'm trying to judge how you buy. I'm not. Your colleagues are giving you feedback because the information is so readily available to us. Does that make sense? Okay. Whether you agree with it or not, they are the 3 steps that we would say you could implement in your business to help drive costs down and maintain quality. And we probably have a few minutes for questions. I'm sure Sylvia would be happy to answer any, and I'd be delighted to answer any if you have any. And sir, I don't know if I answered your question in the end, but that was what I wanted to say.
I think the point of principle that I wanted to say was that too often we monitor our business on percentages.
Yep.
You cannot take a percentage and put it in the bank.
I agree 100%. And that's why you can take £1,321.76 and put that in the bank, though. You see, people have said to us, what should my opportunity cost be? And we had an example of this in the UK. A client said, what should it be? I said, I don't know. But you've got 20 hotels. Look at what the opportunity cost is across all 20 of them. And let's take just the median. And let's say everybody's sitting around 7 or 8, but this guy's up at 15. Then there's a good chance that you should look and focus on the 15. And if you've got one bloke over here on 3, then maybe just go have a look at the operation. If at 3% opportunity cost the food is rubbish, you have a problem and the thing's actually alerting you to that, you need to lift the standard. But if you go in there and the food is terrific, then maybe everybody at 9 needs to get down to 3. Does that make sense? You start to share that common wisdom, and it becomes not effortless. I wish it was, but it becomes a much easier debate because it's not FC debating with the end user. It's using the shared experiences of all the people buying and the best of what they're all doing and then combining it. Any other questions? Well, at least you haven't frog marched me out of here, so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.